Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the final part of the Rival Series EU qualification here on Rival Esports. I'm your humble host, Craftman. I am joined by Digital Bacon and the Eternal Jay, and we are here, like I said, if you've not joined us already, where have you been? We're here for our last qualification match. We got one spot left to give away in this year's Rival Series, and we are ready to get into our final qualification match. It is going to be Baguette Squad versus the Big Brained Gamers. Jay, we'll start with you. Let's talk about Baguette Squad, because at least one of their former players, they already qualified earlier on. Extra now with Fadeaway, they now bring in Yukis, who was their sub last season. How do you think they're going to rack up here? Do you think they get a spot? Because they were one of the standout teams from last season.
Well, they had a pretty decent run throughout the Rewind trials, so that's already a decent start for them already. The thing you've got to consider as well is how well that roster move has sort of affected them. I haven't really seen much of the Baguette Squad, so I can't talk in massive detail about that. But they had to change out something on that respect, because they got so close and they were within only a couple of games of winning, and only a couple of games within staying in the Rival Series, I should say, and they just weren't able to do it. Extra wanted to move on to bigger things, and obviously he has gone on to be part of the Fadeaway roster that have already made it in, and they brought in Yukis, a part of their sub-roster, essentially. So they've got a brand new third in this one. I'm not sure where to place them, I won't lie to you. They are a bunch of really good French lads, and I have a lot of faith in the French scene to be able to produce some really good players, across all esports, not just Rocket League. So I'm not sure how the main things I'm concerned about, and the one main thing I'm sort of like unsure about is how the chemistry will play up and how the team play will play up. I think that Yuki is a very capable player. I think that he can certainly perform well. But you also got to remember that the opposition is going to be very tough to contend with. So there's a lot of questions around this roster for me.
Yeah, it's definitely something you've always got to consider when you swap out a player. How is that new player going to work in the main roster? Obviously, being their sub last year, it's something that it's a player that they already know. Obviously, they've been playing in the off season with him, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out today against Big Brain Gamers and Bacon. These are names that everyone knows, and really names that should have already qualified potentially. It's Alex, Niels Cook, and Jay Walls. Do you think Baguette Squad have any chance of taking these guys down, Bacon?
So essentially it comes to Baguette Squad have team played them. Big Brain Gamers have that powerhouse in mechanical skill. They've got Alex161 previously of Mouse Sports, Niels Kook, who was on Veloce last season, and then Jay Wells, who was on May Contain Nuts last season, didn't quite work out. And this has sort of become a pickup team in its own right. It is another leftover case. We've seen that a lot this summer. And this is a real power one. Like, by all means, the caliber of this team, it should be another case like Fadeaway of this is an easy RLRS team. The problem is they probably got, out of the lower bracket, one of the hardest sort of toss-ups, because the Baguette Squad were in RLRS last season. And this, I think, is going to be our feature match of the day,
Yeah, and what a way to end it. It's going to be one for the ages. I can see this going all 5 games. Just looking at the chat predictions, it's currently 52% to 48%. Really close. In terms of... Oh, yeah, it's just changed over to 51 now. They're picking Big Brain Gamers. Let us know in chat who you think's going to win. Exclamation mark big for Big Brain Gamers. Exclamation mark bag for the Baguette Squad. And quickly, just before we get into this one, Jay and Bacon, what's your predictions?
Oh, don't make us do it. No.
I'm going to go...
Quickly.
I'm going to go Baguette Squad. I'm going Baguette Squad 3-1.
I'll go BBG just to spite you there, Jay, as we go now.
Yeah, let's get this one going. Hype in chat, everyone. It's the last game of the day. Jay and Bacon for one last time. Let's get going.
Let's get going indeed. One final spot in the Rival Series, and it will be either the Baguette Squad or the Big Brain Gamers to claim it. Baguette's in the blue and Brained in the orange as we start things off for Visual to take control. Great aerial dribble to start things off the back of the kickoff, but he will not be able to get that strike in. Alex there with a save. Niels Cook will be able to follow up, swooping into the midfield. Visual will come up, challenge onto the first man, go into that corner all the same. No boost available for him as Yukis shoots off the backboard, leaves it in for swooping to try dunk down. He gets it past one man, but it's going to be too high. Yukis with a final follow-up, but Alex there with clutch saving in the back line.
Alex doing great work in the back lines there. And Jay, for me, if you're looking at this Baguette Squad, it's all going to come down to Visual today for those setups. But as I say that, it's swooping on in to get this drop.
We talk about Original getting the setups. It's Yukis that sets him up off that backboard. A little bit of passive backboard defensive from the Big Brain Gamers. And that gives them a lot of breathing room for the Baguette squad to eventually get the strike in. 31 seconds, and it is an opening goal to their favor, setting the pace at the moment. The kickoff, a bit awkward there. Yukis will still get it off the backboard all the same. J-Walls misses. That's a nice one, but Niels Cook's defensive rotation just comes in clutch. Rizal goes back over to that corner. Niels Cook, ooh, close. Just bunching it up. What is this? Everyone rebounding the ball off them. It does work out in the end, but that did look a little bit dangerous for Baguette squad for the moment. The camera turn over. Yukis with one final redirect, swooping in off the backboard, tries to dunk it down, but Alex puts it out of discourse.
Yeah, definitely looking like we got a couple of French pinball wizards there in defense as they just make it work. The pressure on the attack is good demo as well to J-Wolves, but it's returned on back by Alex. We'll see how these two teams feel each other out, because you've got to remember, this is game one. Another best of 5, and these game ones are generally used to just see how each other plays.
Yukis into that corner, pinching it out. Great control. Past one, not past the second. His teammate a little bit too late to swoop in. Rizal, excuse the pun there.
Oh,
he'll be allowed a great chance. He tees it up, but he couldn't get the shot on target. Swooping denied by Niels Cook. Hesitation from the Baguette squad. It will not allow the second goal to come in.
I don't know what was going on there with Swooping. He just didn't like Ritual there, bumped him away, weren't going to allow him to get the follow-up hit. Maybe they want to take this as a 1-0 win, I don't know, but that was very odd.
Yukis, third back over against his line, Swooping. Able to maintain control on the defense, and Yukis will be able to play it over to that corner ball. Back in, good shot again, but 150-50. Swooping comes up, and Alex is able to hold the defense. The clutch rotations are really kind of holding it together with the Big Brain Gamers at the moment. They are getting a couple of good clears in. J-Walls in particular with a shot on target, and Yukis with there to defend it. The pinch back into the center line. It doesn't look like Niels Cook kind of follow through on that. He's playing back in the defense, expecting a clear to come through, and that's exactly what's happening. Swooping here, good tee off, and J-Walls too far forward. 2-0 for the Baguette squad. And the Big Brain Gamers relying a lot on those rotations. They're not always accurate with it, I think, Bacon.
Yeah, I'm loving this little alley-oop from Swooping there. And the way he uses dodge really fakes on out the defense by jumping up in the air and then using it sideways to really get that lift on it. They may be veterans, this Big Brain Gamers side, but they're going up against a very creative French side.
That was very dangerous from Niels Cook. It's still going to get dangerous because Yuki. What happened? What happened there?
Alex just passed it. He went in the wrong direction, essentially wanted to try and find open space, maybe link up with one of his teammates, but then just that jump in, the dive coming out, just cut it up, and defenders weren't ready.
Would have thought that Niels Cook would have swooped in. Maybe he may have just missed out on, may have lost out on boost, I think.
Him and J-Walls got bumped out on each other. They were, you know, kissing cars, and it weren't good.
There's a 3-0 regardless for the Baguette squad. Continuing pressure out here towards that box. Demos in from Rizal will take out J-Walls here at the midfield line. Rizal will come forward once again. Missing out his secondary touch though. Niels Cook can boom it off to the backboard. Yukis is ready to receive. Niels Cook off the ceiling. Back in for J-Walls' shot. Yukis able to take it away and deny it. Rizal coming forward again, booming on. Oh no. Oh no. There are clear problems in Big Brain's positioning and where they're going to rotate towards. 4-0 in game one for the Baguette squad.
They say the best things in life are free, but that definitely was not the best goal I've ever seen, Jay. Easy peasy for Rizal to get the clear downfield on that, and this looks like game one is already done and dusted.
Swoop in. Trying to secure it with a fifth. At that point, it most certainly would be. That is like an impossible scoreline to come back to, especially with the way that Baguette squad are holding their defensive right now. Swooping rotates in, trying to beat out Niels Cook. Rizal comes up, passes up to open space. J-Walls come out to the corner here, taking it past one man. Rizal quickly teeing it off as well. I mean, the pinch taking it out of control for the Big Brain Gamers. And as you say, you know, 4-0 is such a difficult scoreline to come back towards. If Big Brain Gamers wanted to get this game back under their control, they need to start acting right now, and they're just getting dunked on. J-Walls will get the save in for this one, but a follow-up shot, further pressure coming in. Baguette squad going to allow them no chances to break out.
They just need to talk and connect with each other, because at the moment, you'll notice with all these clearances, it's just up in the air. No one's on this from the Big Brain Gamers. How on earth do they expect to get down to their opponent's end of the pitch if they don't have that second man to drive it forward? They are missing a very crucial element of Rocket League.
Ridgewell challenged here by Niels Cook as they try and hold a best defensive. At least they can stop a secondary goal coming in. Maybe they can score one final one. And maybe they could give them a bit of a boost going into the second game. But unfortunately, I don't think that the comeback in this one is on for the Big Brain Gamers. 4-1 still on the board, 40 seconds to score 3 more. Again, I'm doubtful, Bacon.
Yeah, that was just a real awkward one. The Baguette squad just seemingly looking at and just going, don't care. We've got enough goals up on board. Because you could see it was Yukis down on the ground, not really going for it all when he should have been going up in the air to get that initial hit and challenge. But we'll see. Maybe they'll pay the price. Maybe Big Brain Gamers can come back into this. But now, for me, this is all about confidence boosting for the Big Brain Gamers. They're going to try and get a bit of momentum, get a bit of morale as they go into game 2.
Play up. Chance for J-Rolls to strike. Yukis will be able to save against it. You can see where this one's going. 15 seconds. They try passing towards that box, get a secondary goal, but the final countdown ensues, and yeah, that means that's game over. No way they're going to score 3 in 7 seconds. Therefore, it's Baguette squad taking a very, very confident opening game here to kick things off in our final series of the day. And I got to ask Bacon, what do you think stood out that they did so well to just control and pace themselves so perfectly against Big Brain Gamers?
It was essentially their communications and constant rotations. Big Brain Gamers need to demo this Baguette squad side to break up those rotations, because you'll notice they always have one lad moving on in. Essentially, they'll hit off the backboard or to each other, get that pass, and then shoot. The lad that passed instantly goes back to grab boost. The lad that was in defense moves up to receive the ball and maybe pass up again or have another shot. They are flowing so well, and at the moment, it just seems like they're going downstream and Big Brain Gamers are stuck upstream.
Actually, a pretty good comparison, actually. I kind of like that. That was a really good, smart sort of play.
Big
I
Brain
like
Gamers
that.
are going up against the tide, essentially, where they're not passing to each other, they're just trying to do their own things, and that don't work here.
On game 2, Big Brain Gamers want to strike first. Alex could not get that confident touch in, though. And that's unfortunate because it looked like it might have been pretty competent as well. Niels could back off the backboard. Yukis will take it into the midfield. J-Rolls up and over into the corner now. Yukis back in. Ridgewell, just blocked off by Niels Cook. Again, the same sort of pacing in that first game. You know, the way that they just kind of last second rotating to defend against the shots coming in from the Baguette squad. They continue that pressure with slow balls up, trying to go for a final strike at point blank. Alex gets teed off by Ridgewell. Follow up from Swooping. Oh, he beats J-Walls. He knows he's not getting back. What a cut-off at 4:22 on the clock. It's a first for Baguette squad.
Yeah, this lad has just been a powerhouse on attack, especially with that samurai slash of a cut down on the defender. Looking at it right now, this is a grim path for the lads of Big Brain Gamers. Maybe they're a bit too big for their own boots.
Perhaps so. I picked this team is to go into the playoffs, go into the rival series as well. I'm very surprised that they are getting dismantled in this sort of fashion. Baguette squad facing up against Ridgewell now. Swooping, trying to hold down that midfield control. Leaves the 100 boost for Yukis, who tees it up for Ridgewell to try and take control. J-Walls will see it back, and Niels Cook is there to try and receive it, but way too far out of position, and the ball is too slow. Yukis now beating up the backup, demoed out by Niels Cook, but gets it past 2 of the offending players, and now Alex comes in with his own dribble up from the corner, off the sideboard. No boost, so can't control much further than this. He'll have to leave it to Yukis and J-Walls and co. Back on the back lines as the Baguette squad continue their unrelenting pressure that just gets bounced out of the net. Follow on to the backboard, they've been baited. And again, they just kind of give up the Big Brain Gamers. They realize we're not saving that. 2-0 for Baguette squad.
Double commits once again. Look at that. Bounce right off the back of Alex and towards the net. Lads, I said it in game 1, get talking to each other, because right now they seem frustrated, annoyed, and really aren't getting things going in their favor because they need to drive together as a team.
J-Walls pushing that right in the path of Swooping, challenging in on Ridgewell, just about getting there in time, but if he was a bit too far back, that would have been a simple deny and a goal in for the Baguette squad. Swooping up, Alex takes it over at the midfield. 0 points to boost, can only go so far with it. J-Walls will try and tee it up towards Alex here in the box, but nowhere in position. They're trying to take a strike. Niels Cook, meanwhile, off the sideboard, off that ceiling, trying to go in for a solo play. His teammate misses out the second challenge. Ridgewell will take it over to the orange half at the midfield challenge once again. Yukis also coming forward. Bouncing that over towards the corner board, and Niels Cook can take it away. Demoing on J-Rolls as Ridgewell passes over to Yukis once again. Back into the center line where Swooping comes up to take control, but Niels Cook able to deny against that. Demo in from Nilscook will try to take out some of the front line for the Big Brain Gamers side, and still they play it in. J-Walls with a chance to strike, and he actually has managed to do it as well. Baguette squad a little bit flustered on that right-hand side, but they are going to concede one.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake coming out from Rizal there. He wanted to leave it. He was almost faking out. But that play coming out by Alex to essentially just leave it, go for the last man in net, and get the bump, really reap the reward. Good bump for Rizal.
Yeah, taking out some of the midfield. Yuki's going to try to follow through with that, but Nilscook gets back in time to hold the defense. Follow up again, going for the strike, and it is cleared out over to the box. Swooping is there to receive. Good rotations coming in from the Baguette squad, knowing exactly where they need to be placed once again. Here's Rizal, pushes it up, following up with a secondary touch. No, he actually misses that. He could have left that for a teammate who's also pushing up that right-hand side. Alex beats out one player. Rizal coming in from that to the corner, gets that 100 boost as well, denying Alex any chance to get back over to his half. And returns to the defensive because it's going to get pressured again by the Baguette squad. 2 minutes to go. They still hold a lead here in game 2. Newkiss missing out as Alex booms up against J-Walls off to the backboard looking for a second touch. And no, one good 50-50. It's going to go too far wide.
Is good block out there though. It just seems like every single time Baguette squad have the Big Brain Gamers number, they just can't things out. There was a little mistake there and a good 50-50 from J-Walls, but no follow-up here, Jay, and that is a crucial error.
Oh no, that's the best crucial lever. Instead, Rizal still gets it out. That could have been a goal right there for Big Brain Gamers. It looked like it was off the back of a very awkward touch, but Rizal coming in clutch. J-Walls challenge to the midfield, and there's no one in the orange net this time. Nilscook trying to get back there. Alex will be able to receive it. Pass over to J-Walls, boom back on target, and I don't think they're going to make it this one. No, they will. Swooping off the crossbar, and another big clutch rotation in from the Baguette squad as they deny 2 great opportunities at net for the Big Brain Gamers. They just cannot seem to equalize this lead.
Yeah, how dare you doubt the Baguette squad here? They're freshly baked, they're ready for this. They've risen to the occasion here, Jay, and they know the perfect pacing of this game because essentially they're setting the pace. You'll notice all these little pop shots coming out from Big Brain Gamers are not making it. It's purely because, again, they're not getting those demos in. They really need to disrupt the Baguettes.
35 seconds to try and do so. J-Walls back passing out to the midfield. Alex will be a little bit late to the party and receiving a swooping challenge successfully. J-Walls booming back over. Good pass over towards Nilscook, but Yukis with an intercept. Rizal following through as well. Backboard play, going for the solo up. We'll take it away from them on the defensive line. They realize that if they let Big Brain Gamers get any control, that's potential for them to come forward with a clear and counter attack. Yukis will shoot, Alex will save. And now over to J-Walls, who needs to get something up here. He goes out to open space. Rizal will sweep in to try and take control of it. Yukis also over towards the corner. Down the pitch into the backboard, will not be able to get that shot on target, but Swooping has all the control he needs. Ball on the floor, 2-0, Baguette squad. Looking for Sweep City to continue apparently today, as they are on for another 3-0 sweep to make it into the rival series.
Yeah, no one wants to mix things up. Everyone's out today with their brooms. It looks like sweeps will continue. Big Brain Gamers need to change something around. They're getting better on the pace. They're looking for that teamwork, as shown by that close to score margin, but still they're missing that little bit of extra specialty, and it is all coming down to essentially those bump plays they've got to get out or try and harm the boost management of the Baguette squad, because you're still noticing a lot of the plays from Big Bang Gamers are essentially where they just break away. They get one of those big clears and can chase up onto it, but they're so rare.
Rarity is the real word of the moment for the scoreline for the Big Brain Gamers. They need something special at this stage. Rizal tries to set things up over to the blue half. A little bit of pressure coming in at least for the Big Brain Gamers in the early part of this one, but I imagine they should be returned relatively quickly indeed. There's Rizal over to that mid-center, trying to get it over to the backboard. Baguette squad is so confident in this best of 5 thus far. They could again be on for that 3-0 sweep. And if they are, well, remake is one of the most one-sided play-in qualifying matches I think I may have ever seen, but I digress. Newkiss after the backboard. Alex over to the blue half. Swooping will be able to take control. Rizal back in off the backboard again. No one's going to be there to defend it. Swooping has a faithful chance to strike, but J-Walls and Alex will be able to defend and clear. Follow up with Nilscook to finally get it out to the blue half into the midfield.
Yeah, and once again, Rizal just easily being able to keep up this pressure. That drop down's a good idea, as it will find Alex, but it's only stalling for time, Jay. What they need to do is try and link up, essentially. Oh, too deep in net, that bump! That got caught in the background. Didn't get to see this happen live.
Boom on from Ridgewall. Commitment right there, and Niels Cook, yeah, you're right, out of position. And the first will be on the board for the Baguette squad. In just this first 60 seconds, big start for them. And now 4 minutes to go, and they will be in the rival series above the Big Brain Gamers. Ball in, J-Wall's in his position, leaves it up. But now we've got to see a swing come in from Niels Cook or Alex, and neither player's going to commit to this one. Perfect chances being wasted. Big Brain Gamers a little bit passive on the commitments. Niels Cook tries to keep it in the midfield, but it's going to allow Ridgewall to pass up to Ukis. Great opportunity on towards the net. He'll come forward and again just keep it inside that box. No boost for him. He'll be forced to rotate back and leave his teammates to maintain control. Niels Cook backing over towards that corner position. Niels Cook demoing out Ukis, maintaining midfield dominance, but unable to set up a decent shot. It will go to the center line. Alex will try and receive it, but both players are going to rotate back for boost as Ukis booms on target and J-Walls gets back to defend.
Oh, but that's straight down the center. That's into Ridgewall's hands. Good block coming out from J-Walls. Right now, Jay, I want to see the lads at Big Brain Games maybe throwing a little bit of ball chasing. I've definitely seen that downfield. They're not half rotating to keep that pressure up, and it just gives way too much time for the lads of the Baguette squad to get that ball downfield. But look at that from swooping. Dirty linger in his opponent's half.
Ukis, good redirect, big miss from J-Walls, but again, Niels coming off the rotation. Alex on the backboard, second touch, that can look beautiful! And finally, something goes right for the Big Brain Gamers. Perfect pass up, perfect receive, perfect to the backboard, and one back on the board for them. They're all evened up.
Yeah, an absolute display of skill there from Alex with that double touch. Having to go the width of the net as well. Proper swipe across. Will bring his team back into the game. But we're at the halfway mark, Jay. Still tons of time to be played out.
Absolutely, anything can happen in the next 2 minutes. Pass in from Alex to J-Walls, once again goes close, his light touches, third man commitment will not come through as Ukis finds himself placed perfectly to defend and clear. Following up from Ridgewall's touch as well, goes off to that backboard. Alex will be able to keep it in that corner. Ridgewall pushes it out over at the midfield. Ukis with a response, 70 points a boost. Second touch against Niels Cook won't be allowed, but sweeping comes in, great on angle, Alex defends it. And it will be J-Walls to find the overall clear, dribbling all the way back over to that blue half. Ukis trying to take it around the town and keep it away from any control of the Big Brain Gamers. He'll be successful, try go for a shot, set up Ridgewall for a quick pass over, but no one is in the front field to receive.
Yeah, but that transition downfield was so important from Ukis there, Jay, where essentially all that freedom, oh, this is risky, above net, and you can see Alex is waiting, but didn't predict it right.
Swoop in, pinch back over to the orange half, and the heavy commitments from Big Brain Gamers are really highlighted every time Baguette squad get a clear like that. Now going over to the blue half again, they're going to try and set up some offensive prey. J-Walls goes over towards that box, bouncing off that corner, trying to go to big point blank position. Ridgewall over to the sideboard, into the midfield, teed off by Ukis, followed up potentially from Alex's position. Swoop in from that corner again, Niels Cook pushes it over, follow up from Ridgewall, bounces back against one man into that midfield. It will continue to hold as Ukis over to the box. No one else coming out. Good shot, again goes high, follow up from Swoop and won't be allowed. But Ukis in with one final opportunity, and he beats everyone to the ball, threads the needle, and gets the second in. 58 seconds for Baguette squad, and they are within touching distance of the rival series.
Yeah, Alex went out just then. He thought it was safe, but no. That cut-in by Ukis, we've seen it so often by his Baguette squad, where they're willing to send a man forward and take the risk. Their risk assessment is so good.
Swoop in. And Ridgewall again playing off their kickoff to keep the pressure going. Again, they just have to let the timer run to 0 and they will be in the rival series. Baguette squad can smell it from here, and they can smell another goal. Punishing the over-commitment from Big Brain Gamers again and again. 3-1, 30 seconds left. I think it might be over.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a few LA Baguettes in Twitch chat here, Jay, because they are absolutely going for it. 3-1 now, 2-0 lead. That was close to the mark, and the Baguettes just have to hold the door.
J-Walls keeping it up. They got to score one right now. Bumping Niels Cook. He's too far forward. He couldn't get the strike. Alex continues to commit. Niels Cook misses out. And J-Walls with a strike off the crossbar into Alex's position. Blocked off by Rizral. And they've still got pressure. They've still got a chance. But 10 seconds remaining. They need a goal. Followed up by a kickoff. And they just whiffed the best shot that they had, their best chance to stay alive. Alex, one final time, not to be allowed. It's game, set, and match. Another full-on sweep. Baguette squad reclaiming their spot in the RLRS above the Big Brain Gamers. Oh, man. It sucks to see so many 3-0 sweeps, but they have been so close from Baguette squad and Big Brain. I mean, I got to give credit to them, man. Baguette squad, they're another team that have earned their place in the RLRS.
Yeah, we got so many 3-0 sweeps. It's crazy. We even got one last night with the NA side of things. But EU coming out today, like I said, they want things done quickly. And so they just get it over with. We have to bring back Craft, Matt. Because, dude, you've got to break this down with us.
Yeah, what a series that was. And I've got my brush out because we are going to Sweep City, ladies and gentlemen.
You've only ruined your hair.
I've ruined my hair. My hair's a mess anyway. Yeah. I mean, we just the Big Brain Gamers. They had the big names, but they big crash out of the tournament, and they do not get their.
That one, jeez.
I literally just thought of it there. They do not get their spot in the rival series. But Baguette squad, of course, regain their position. What a game from them, and it was just, for me, it was a lot from Big Brains, where they just lost control of the match. They could not get a handle on it, and Baguette squad were just all over them, taking control, and especially the defense for Big Brain, it just was not there, Bacon.
It really wasn't, and it just shows that the teamwork weren't there as well. These were lads that probably might have been a bit too overconfident from their experience, their skill, and didn't take this as seriously as what they should have. Probably didn't get as much scrim and focus on those team plays because they are so important. We saw them getting better throughout the game, but that was just purely because they were adapting to their opponents and learning how they are passing about. But still, in the end, it was just that pure grit from the Baguette squad that got them through, and that sort of knowing of each other. Like we said, Yukis stepping up from that sub role last season, so this team technically isn't changed, and it really shows because they were so silky smooth.
Very silky smooth, but one thing that wasn't silky smooth was the Big Brain Gamers positioning. I think you mentioned it early on, Bacon, but Jay, their position was just all over the place. There were so many overcommitments, and there was just so many open up net opportunities for Baguette squad to fire upon.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like it felt like, again, I talked about the rotation a lot from the Big Brain Gamers because the defensive was so reliant on people sweeping in from the corner or sweeping back from the midfield to rotate around and clear the ball out from that. And it's not a confident defensive, unfortunately, from them. It's what cost them so many opportunities. It's what led those goals to be so one-sided in certain cases from the Baguette squad. You know, those games, we saw at least one 4-1 in that one, especially that game one. You know, like that was where I think things were really highlighted for them. And Baguette squad playing as a unit, playing really confidently with Yukis in their lineup as well. I think the squad just got better from the last season, which is probably a pretty terrifying prospect for anyone who just made it in because, you know, they have the rival series experience now as well, so they know what it takes to compete at that level. The question is, will they be able to stay at that level this time?
Absolutely, and Bacon, just one final word in this game. Baguette squad now in the rival series, part of that 10-team roster. What is the one thing that Baguette squad are going to bring to the table that's going to strike fear into the heart of their opponents this season?
It is literally going to be those team plays where you're going to see a lot of these other teams don't have it. Echo Zulu are probably your closest bet for that. But they're more defensive focused, so they're going to try and edge out the wins. But it is that Baguette squad with that previous year's experience in the competition. I think they're going to be one to really trifle with because this is the Wild West of Rock League, I think, EU this time around.
Europe always is the Wild West. Oh, yeah. It really is. You can never predict it. Whether it's rival series, championship series, it's a complete mess, and we absolutely love it. But let's take a look at the final standings. Your 10 rival series teams, obviously joining ARG and Method from last season. We have the Disco Combobulators, who we didn't see on stream. We have Flaunt Fade Away, Team Echo Zulu, Team Vertex, Underwater Squad, Peptios Canyons, and of course the French Baguette squad. They are your 10 rival series teams for the European region. Guys, what do you make of this? Any early predictions?
For me, Fadeaway and ARG looking really good so far. Flump Result is probably a bit of a dark horse, the same with Discombobulators to that. But again, this Baguette squad, like, I reckon we are going to have the close, like, you know, last season was close with near enough so many teams in that 3 and 4 line. I reckon we're going to get a similar case this time around, just because that level is so close in the EU at the moment, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very tough call to make this early on, you know, when we haven't seen some of the teams for 11 months. You know, ARG, for example, swings to mind. Based on what we've seen today so
We
far,
haven't seen Method with Tadpole, have we? So
no, we haven't seen
that
Method with
factor as
Tadpole
well.
either, so there's also that factor to take into account. Probably something we have to take a look at all the demos and scrims for later on down the road. But I'm loving some of the storylines coming in this one. Echo Zulu, finally their chance to get into the rival series and prove what they're made of. Fade away, fading into relevance, and Baguette squad with a second opportunity, at the rival series. I'm loving what's coming out of the rival series right now, and although it might not be the highest level of Rocket League gameplay, I think there's a lot of interest to be shown right now at that level.
Absolutely, it's going to be an interesting season to watch. And for me personally, I think Fadeaway and Flump Resort, or at least from the qualifiers that we just saw, they're going to be the 2 teams to really watch going through. They could even make a run to the playoffs. And one underdog that I think everyone's underrating is Echo Zulu. They've had a fantastic year, really coming from nowhere at the start of the year into DreamHack Leipzig, getting to that day 3, and they've just had a stellar year from there. So they're going to be ones to watch, and they could. I don't think they'll make playoffs, but I think they'll stay in the rival series for next season. Anyway, just before we wrap up our broadcast, we do have our MVP play-ins, our MVP players from the play-ins to bring you. Obviously, we had North America yesterday. The MVP for that was Torinoto. I'm struggling to read that name from Nefarious.
Not on my
He was
screen,
the
so I can't
MVP
help
yesterday. Yeah. And from Europe today, we've decided it is Mr. Ube from Pepe Canyons. Guys, thoughts, any suggestions? Any other MVP candidates other than Ube?
Oh, for me, it's a hard one, but definitely Tars from earlier in the day for the Echo Zulu side. Looking around the rest of the scene, I'd probably even want to maybe look at the Discombobulators with Virtuoso being, as we've always described it, that player which even his teammates doesn't know what to do. So it works out to, like, his opponents don't have a clue either. So it works really well. And that, for me, Discombobulators is probably going to be the weirdest team in RLRS. I don't know where that puts them, but it'll be interesting and exciting to see.
Jay, you got an MVP from today?
I don't know, man. Like there are a couple of really good teams today, and really good players as well. I think that the Mr. Ube sort of pick is a very respectable one.
Solid.
And certainly could be. It's very solid, you know. Again, he was one of the main guys that sort of did really well. But also maybe from the underwater squad, Bilbo or Lorty. Lorty actually maybe I'd pick over those guys. You know, if I had to pick someone else other than Mr. Ube, but I think Mr. Ube is a perfectly respectable sort of pick from the EU rival series. And of course, he's now part of the rival series, so fair play to him. He's a rock, and he will continue to be one, I think, for the rest of the season.
Very much so, and we really can't wait to get going with the entire B stream here on Rival Esports all season long. We will be bringing the B stream games here on twitch.tv/Rival Esports. But just as we wrap this up, guys, any final thoughts, and what are you most excited about this season? Bacon, we'll start with you.
Okay, start with me. For me, it's probably... I'm going to be greedy and say it's that we get to cast 4 games a night on the B stream. Like, we're matching the A stream with that aspect. Like, last season it was 2, and like, whenever we finish those casts, Jerry and you will be able to back me up. It was like, no, we want more. So having 4 this time around is going to be crazy.
It's weird too, because that is exactly what I was going to say, Vacancy. You've stolen my idea.
I've looked up Liquipedia and it might be 5. I thought it was only 4, so... Interesting.
Well, I mean, for me personally, I'd say that possibly as well, just to push on towards the RLCS level of things. I want to say that the Madrid land is going to be hype. I think most of us are going to try and be there as well. So You know, just everything, like you said, like you were saying earlier, Kraft, the road to Madrid starting here, and it seems like that it has started for a lot of us. I'm excited. I think a lot of people are excited for this season. There's a lot of things to look forward to over the next few months.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the road to Madrid starts here. Rival Series is back. Championship Series is back next weekend. We really can't wait to get going here on Rival Esports, but we will send it off for now. Thank you so much for watching today and yesterday with the North American play-ins as well. My name's Grafman, that's Bacon, that's Jay. We also had Jam and Chrome join us earlier. Tractor's been in the booth broadcasting, but we will see you next week for the start of the B stream. Goodbye.
Cause this must be heaven. I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day I die, I'ma touch the sky.